John had always wanted a dog, but it wasn't until he was in his late 30s that he finally adopted Maximum. Max was a scrappy little terrier who had been abandoned on the streets of the city. Despite his tough exterior, Max was a sweet and loving dog who quickly won John's heart. As the years passed, John and Max became inseparable. They went for long walks in the park, played fetch in the backyard, and cuddled up on the couch to watch TV. Max was more than just a pet to John, he was his best friend and confidant. One day, John began to feel unwell. He was tired all the time, had no appetite, and was losing weight. After several visits to the doctor, John was diagnosed with cancer. The news was devastating, and John's world was turned upside down. As John's illness progressed, Max became increasingly protective of him. He would follow John from room to room, never leaving his side. Max would lie beside John's bed, resting his head on John's chest, as if trying to comfort him. Despite his own suffering, John was touched by Max's devotion. He knew that Max was worried about him, and was doing everything he could to make him feel better. As John's health declined, Max became even more attentive. He would nudge John's hand with his nose, urging him to pet him. Max would lick John's face, as if trying to kiss away his pain. And when John was too weak to get out of bed, Max would lie beside him, providing warmth and comfort. The bond between John and Max was unbreakable. They had been through so much together, and now they were facing the greatest challenge of all. But through it all, they never gave up hope. One evening, as John was lying in bed, Max began to whine softly. John could sense that something was wrong. He reached out to pet Max, but his hand was too weak. Max licked John's hand and then lay down beside him, resting his head on John's chest. John knew that he was dying. He could feel his body growing weaker by the minute. But as he looked down at Max, he knew that he had one last responsibility to fulfill. He had to make sure that Max would be taken care of after he was gone. With great effort, John managed to reach for a piece of paper and a pen. He began to write a letter, telling the world how much he loved Max and how important he was to him. He asked his family to take care of Max and to love him as much as he did. When John finished the letter, he gave it to his wife and asked her to read it out loud. As she read, tears streamed down her face. She could feel the depth of John's love for Max, and knew that he was leaving behind a great legacy. John passed away peacefully that night, with Max lying beside him. For several days after John's death, Max refused to leave his side. He would whimper softly and look up at the door, hoping that John would come back. Despite his grief, Max was a source of comfort to John's family. He would lie quietly beside them, offering his love and support. Max's loyalty and devotion touched the hearts of everyone who knew him, and he became a symbol of the enduring bond between humans and dogs. In the end, Max was adopted by a loving family who appreciated his loyalty and devotion. Although he missed John, Max found happiness again, knowing that he had made a difference in the lives of those he had touched. The story of John and Max is a testament to the power of love and the enduring bond between humans and dogs.